Welcome to Verse in the Hot Seat. This is where we take one single Bible verse for a real deep dive.
Yep. Pull it apart, look at the history, maybe some misunderstandings.
Exactly. And today, it's Jeremiah 29.11, probably one of the most famous ones.
Ooh, definitely. You see it everywhere.
So the big question we're asking is this verse, a personal pinky promise from God for your good future? Or was it, well, originally for someone else entirely?
That's the heart of it.
Yeah.
And to answer that, you really have to picture the scene back then.
Okay, set it for us.
All right, so imagine it's the 6th century BCE. Judah's been crushed by Babylon.
Yeah.
Thousands of people, the skilled workers, the leaders, they've been dragged off into exile.
Wow. So not a
They
vacation.
weren't even close. They're
Yeah.
refugees, basically. Lost their homes, their land, their temple. Their whole world's been turned upside down. Total despair for many.
Okay, bleak. And Jeremiah sends a letter into that situation.
Precisely. He's writing to those exiles in Babylon, and this verse, 29.11, is part of that letter.
Got it. So let's look at the words. For I know the plans I have for you. The I is God speaking, obviously.
Yes. And here isn't just casual awareness, it's deep, intentional, like God's fully aware and purposeful.
Okay. And plans.
Well, the Hebrew word, machaba, it suggests carefully crafted thoughts or designs, not just vague ideas.
Right. Not like, maybe I'll do something nice later.
Exactly. And these plans are for welfare. Now, that's shalom in Hebrew.
Ah, shalom. We hear that word a lot.
We do, but it's often underestimated. It's way more than just no war. It's about wholeness, completeness, everything being right and flourishing.
So not just avoiding bad stuff, but aiming for genuine good.
Precisely. Then it says plans for welfare and not for evil, or not for calamity in some translations. It directly addresses their current terrible situation.
Okay, and the payoff line? To give you a future and a hope? That's the part everyone holds on to, isn't it?
It really is. It's powerful. But notice the original audience again. The you in the Hebrew is plural.
Plural, so not just talking to one person?
Nope. God is addressing the community of exiles, the collective group. The promise of a future and a hope was about the eventual restoration of the nation, their return from exile, even if it was decades away.
That changes things a bit because, let's be honest, many people grab this verse for their personal struggles. Like, if I lose my job or I'm sick.
Totally understandable. It feels like a direct comfort.
Yeah, like a guarantee. Don't worry, God's got a plan just for me, and it's going to be great soon.
And that's the common misconception, or maybe misapplication. Taking a communal long-term promise out of its context and making it an immediate individual guarantee.
It sort of becomes like a spiritual get-out-of-jail-free card.
Kind of, yeah. It risks turning God's vast historical plan into something just about my personal comfort right now. While God absolutely cares individually, this specific promise had a specific corporate scope.
So it wasn't a fortune cookie promise for each person there.
Definitely not. Some of those exiles died in Babylon. They didn't personally see the return. The promise was bigger than any one individual's immediate circumstances.
Okay, so if it's not a direct promise for my immediate success or happiness today, how is it still relevant? Does it still offer hope?
Oh, absolutely. I think it offers immense hope, but perhaps a different kind of hope.
How so?
Well, even though the specific promise was for them, the verse reveals something fundamental about God's character. It shows that even in the midst of suffering, even when things look utterly hopeless, God's underlying intention, his ultimate plan, is towards restoration, towards shalom, towards a future and a hope.
So it speaks to God's heart, his long-term goals for his creation, even if the path involves hardship.
Exactly. It reminds us that our tough times, our own exiles, aren't the final word. It encourages trust in God's goodness over the long haul, even when we can't see the immediate resolution. It's about the process, not just a single promise for now.
That shifts the focus, doesn't it? From what's God promising me right now to what does this tell me about who God is?
Precisely. It's about trusting his character and his ultimate purposes, which are always aimed at good, even when the how and when are unclear to us.
That actually feels deeper, maybe more sustaining than just expecting everything to turn out rosy immediately.
I think so, too. It's a hope anchored in God himself, not just in circumstances changing on our timetable.
Okay, so wrapping this up, Jeremiah 29.11, incredibly popular, incredibly powerful, but originally a message for a whole community in crisis, promising national restoration down the line.
Right, a promise about God's long-term faithfulness to his people.
Not necessarily a guarantee that your specific problem will vanish tomorrow, but a profound statement about God's ultimate intentions being for good, for shalom, for a future filled with hope.
Well put. It invites us into that bigger story of hope.
So here's something to chew on. How does knowing the original context, that this was for exiles far from home, change how you think about or maybe even use this verse in your own life, especially during tough times? Definitely something worth pondering.
Indeed it is.